A while ago, I did one of these on Edward Curtis. We saw an exhibition of his work in a nearby museum. He devoted much of his life to a huge project, the photographic documentation of many North American Indian tribes. Early on in his work, he was taken by a friend to observe and photograph a performance of the SunDance celebration, which continued day and night for nearly a week. And we learned that he did this shortly before the United States government banned this Native American celebration. By law, the Indians were not allowed to do this SunDance. I was somewhat dismayed to hear this, and I decided to learn more about this SunDance and why it was so subversive that it had to be stopped. I learned that the prohibition was lifted in 1936. And one of the first things I found out was that the Indians did not want white people to learn about it, and they did not like it when white people attended a ceremony as tourists, and they were little more than an offshoot of Bill Cody's Wild West show, a free attraction, making it more surprising that Curtis was allowed not only access, but also to take photographs. So, out of respect, even though it doesn't make any difference now, I decided not to read any of the books I had collected about the SunDance. I believe that the Indians were not so much concerned with keeping their ceremony a secret. It was more that the act of observation was an invasion of their privacy, and of course they resented that. They wanted to be left alone while they were conducting what was for them a sacred ritual. They were speaking to the sun. I am sure they believed that the sun was a giver of life, which it is. But the government insisted that the SunDance never be performed again. I'm sure they said it was barbaric with elements of savagery in it. I'm sure they said it was uncivilized. It goes way past irony to observe that a nation which cherishes as its creation myth not wealth and the discovery of a rich continent full of natural resources, but religious toleration, that such a nation founded on that tolerance and religious freedom would prevent an indigenous people from celebrating their own religious rite. That leaves hypocrisy in the dust too. My guess is that the government believed that if a people continued to gather and worship together, that people would retain a kind of power, even if it was spiritual. Take away the religious worship and you remove that last bit of power they might have, as well as any possible threat to the white authority. George Orwell certainly understood this, that if you can root out the privacy of the individuals in a society, then the state can rule imperiously. If you take away privacy from individuals, then they are completely powerless. That is the message behind the famous slogan, "Big Brother is watching you." It's not so much what specifically he might see, crimes or slip-ups. It is to instill in the people the knowledge and belief that they have no privacy, that Big Brother is watching always and everywhere. And if they believe that, then there is no need for Big Brother to watch or even exist. The threat alone will be sufficient. People will be no more than empty shadows. So we stopped the savages from performing their ritual dance, as we had taken away their homes, their land, and their food supply. When we stopped the SunDance, we eliminated their private lives as well, leaving them with nothing, life on the reservation. And now we face the same fate. Because of extensive electronic interconnection, we have no privacy. Privacy is a joke, or a delusion, and everyone knows this. I have a friend who is in an elevated position in a company, and he used to send me emails which sometimes contained details from his work life, the theatrical interplay of corporate intrigue, always entertaining. I was familiar vicariously with an entire cast of earnest players. He stopped writing when he realized that if any legal action resulted from a workplace dispute, his emails could be subpoenaed, ordered to appear on the record, and that is only one instance of what I'm talking about. We have lost our privacy, and without it we are nothing, targets waiting to be hit. And no one had to do this, as we did it, forcibly to the Indians. We did this to ourselves. We allowed it to happen, and now we are powerless to stop it or correct it. Big Brother is watching us, only he's not our brother. He's a disinterested network, a power that can flip us over, scrutinize our lives, and crush us if we ever think of getting out of line.